You know that moment when your toddler is fine one second and screaming because you broke a cracker the next? Or when your teenager shuts down completely? What if I told you those huge, overwhelming reactions are not about the cracker or the homework, but about a secret stress system you unintentionally programmed? In the first 2 years of life, you are literally the architect of your child's brain. You are installing the wiring for all future confidence, trust, and resilience. Stick with me, because once you understand this one piece of neuroscience, you'll stop fighting the behavior and start fixing the core problem. That secret stress system has a name: attachment. This isn't just fluffy emotional talk. It is the fundamental psychological and biological bond that your child forms with you, their primary caregiver, and it becomes the template for every single relationship they will ever have, with friends, with colleagues, and eventually with their own partners and children. The foundational work was done by the British psychologist John Bowlby, who proved that love is not a luxury in childhood, it is survival. What Bowlby and his later colleague Mary Ainsworth found is that the brain is rapidly developing, and every time your child has a need, whether they're hungry, tired, or scared, your response sends a message to their brain. When you respond with sensitivity and consistency, their brain releases a powerful chemical called oxytocin, the bonding hormone. This literally strengthens the neural pathways for emotional regulation and trust. Your child develops a mental blueprint that says, "I am safe. When I need help, someone comes." That is secure attachment. But when a child's needs are ignored, dismissed, or met with chaos, their brain releases cortisol, the stress hormone. Too much cortisol, too often, especially early on, wires the brain to live in constant alert. They may grow into adults who are anxious, desperate for validation, or conversely, distant and avoidant. That's why we see those 4 classic attachment styles: secure, anxious, avoidant, and the most challenging, disorganized. These aren't just labels, they are a direct reflection of your child's internal weather forecast. Now, most modern parents don't intentionally ignore their kids, right? We're all trying our best. Yet 2 common mistakes are unintentionally locking children into those less secure styles. And the first one is the silent killer. It's the moment your child comes to you upset and you say the word that completely dismisses their reality. Before I tell you that word, let's talk about the 2 biggest parenting pitfalls, because recognizing these moments is the first step toward fixing the wiring. The first major mistake is emotional dismissal. This is what often leads to the avoidant attachment style. Think about the scene. Your 6-year-old is crying because they lost a game. You, trying to be helpful, say, "It's not a big deal. Stop crying, you're fine." Or maybe you say, "Don't be sad, big boys, girls. Don't cry over that." What your child hears is, "My emotions are inconvenient. My feelings are wrong." They learn to stop seeking comfort, not because they don't need it, but because they've learned seeking comfort pushes the people they love most away. So they stuff those big feelings down, creating an adult who struggles with vulnerability and connection. They look brave on the surface, but inside, that trust alarm is silently blaring. The second mistake, which can lead to the anxious or ambivalent style, is inconsistent reactivity. Sometimes you're calm, gentle, and present. Other times, maybe you're stressed, exhausted, or on your phone, and you snap at the exact same behavior you ignored yesterday. This inconsistency is pure chaos for a child's developing security system. They crave closeness, but they don't trust it. They become hyper-attuned to your moods, desperately seeking validation because they are never sure if love is coming or going. They get sticky, they cling, and as teenagers, they might become highly dramatic or manipulative simply because it's the only way they've learned to guarantee your attention. And the word you should never say, it's the phrase, "calm down." It's a dismissal wrapped in a command, and it invalidates their reality. Instead, we have to learn the power of the repair. Here's the good news. Attachment is not destiny. It's moldable. Every moment is a chance to rewrite the story, especially after you've made a mistake. That's called mending the rupture, and it's perhaps the most important skill in secure parenting. You will lose your patience. You will raise your voice. But what matters is what you do next. Educationalist Dr. Ross Greene speaks about solving problems collaboratively, but the emotional foundation is repair. That's why the 5 most powerful words you can say to your child are, "I am sorry for shouting." This teaches your child that even safe people make mistakes, and love is safe enough to come back to. So, how do we actively build that secure bond starting today? It comes down to 3 practical, science-backed habits. First, practice attunement. This is the key concept from neuroscience expert Dan Siegel, who talks about the name it to tame it principle. When your child is upset, don't rush to fix the problem, rush to reflect the emotion. If they're crying because their sister took a toy, you don't say, "Share!" You say, "You look really angry right now because she grabbed your truck." That feels unfair. When you name their feeling, you're lending them your calm, organized adult brain to regulate their storm. This is the moment you teach them emotional intelligence. Second, master the 90-second rule for managing your own emotional reaction. Researchers suggest that a purely biological emotional wave, the pure surge of adrenaline and cortisol, lasts about 90 seconds. We often compound that initial wave by adding a narrative. "Why does he always do this?" Or, "I must be a bad mom." Next time your child triggers you, pause. Take 90 seconds to physically cool down, step away if you need to, and then return. That pause teaches your child that you are a safe anchor who doesn't get swept away by their storms. Third, embrace the concept of Amaé. This is a beautiful Japanese term that translates loosely to a deep desire for sweet dependence. In the Western world, we often rush independence, pushing kids out of the nest early. But Amaé is the radical idea that a child needs to feel completely and safely dependent on you first before they can confidently launch. It means allowing your 10-year-old to cuddle you after a bad day, or letting your teenager know you'll always be their soft landing. This deepens the secure base. Because here's the final truth. The way your child learns to lean on you is the way they will learn to stand on their own. And if they feel they need to be emotionally distant to protect themselves, they will inevitably choose partners later in life who are also unavailable and distant. Stay until the end for the one quick, powerful action you can take tonight. Parenting isn't about being flawless. It's about being consistently present. Every time you respond sensitively instead of reacting with frustration, every time you choose empathy over dismissal, you are strengthening those neural pathways in their brain. You are building an adult who believes, "I am safe. I am loved. I am enough." And that belief, more than any grade or financial success, is the most powerful gift you can give them. So, here is your immediate action item. Tonight, before they fall asleep, commit to a 5-minute connect. Turn off all distractions, look them in the eyes, and ask just one open-ended question that encourages a feeling, not a fact. Something like, "What was the most surprising moment of your day?" Or, "What made you feel strongest today?" Then, for 5 minutes, just listen. Don't problem solve, don't lecture, don't dismiss. Just receive their emotional information. Do this consistently, and you won't just be a parent, you'll be their secure anchor. You'll be their emotional architect. And you'll be the reason they grow up to love the world and themselves securely.